Hello guys, here's Rim with another Revenant discussion slash review. PvP centric, focused on the new Revenant Elite Specialization coming with out of Fire, the Renegade. The Renegade comes with a brand new trait line of a Renegade. It comes with a Shortbow weapon. And it comes with a Kalla legend. Let's get out of combat so I can show you Kalla legend. This elite specialization is focused on mostly PvE, at least the legend, and dealing a lot of condition damage while providing some support to allies. So here we will start with the traits. As keep in mind, it's just with PvP in mind. The first tier, so the minor is of Kalla is that if you strike an enemy from behind or from the side, which is basically 270 degrees, you will gain a stack of Kalla's Fervor. Kalla's Fervor gives you on this trait, it gives you 30 ferocity and 2% condition damage for 8 seconds base, and it caps at 5. It can be increased in duration and it max stacks by this Grandmaster trait, Lasting Legacy. It will increase the duration to 12 seconds from 8 seconds and the max cap to 10. So instead of maximum 10% damage modifier for condition damage and 300 ferocity, no, 150 ferocity, you will be able to get 20% condition damage and 300 ferocity. So it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, this whole damage modifier is the seller for Renegade in PvP. As the third trait line, generally Herald on Devastation, but this provides even more condition damage and technically a condition damage option for a range, so for poking, times when we cannot go into melee, for times when we have to take some break and get a heal up. Yeah. So going over to Adept Majors, we have Ashen Demanda, Blood Fury, and Wrath Iron Will. They all provide a stack of Kalla's Favor, in addition to some effects. This one, Ashen Demanda, it's okay, but it has 3-second cooldown. It gives basically 5 vulnerability and some cripple whenever you CC an enemy. This one, Blood Fury, it technically should increase bleed duration. Currently it's bugged, it doesn't. But it should increase your bleed duration. You get bleeds from your auto attack on Shortbow, from your second skill in Shortbow. And if you run Kalla, you can get it from Razor's Claw Rage, in addition to things like Geomancy, but Geomancy and Earth Sigils are not present in PvP as it is currently. And the third skill, the third trait, Wrath Iron Will, it gives you and your allies some retaliation in some region on evading an attack. Currently I think if this was not bugged, this would be the go-to. As it is, in this build, which is more centric around PvP and it has Shortbow, it doesn't have staff, I'm going with Wrath Iron Will just for this extra little bit of sustain that Renegade desperately needs. And it's just bonus support, so it's pretty good. I think all three here are viable picks. None of them is like a clear winner for PvP. All three can be picked. As for the second minor, Endless Enmity, Gain Fury, Particular Strike, this just gives us a bit more fury, which synergizes with Blood Fury. We already have quite a bit of Fury in such build. If we take Shiro, which we will probably be taking in PvP as Renegade, we'll be taking Malix and Shiro. That's my prediction, because Kalla is not really a PvP legend. But I'll get to that later. We can have Fury from Riposting Shadows, we can get Fury from Invocation, from Invoker's Rage, Fury damage are increased. We could also technically get Fury's Infusion, but Cleansing Channel is usually the better choice. And we already have some access to Fury, so that should be good. That should be enough. This is just handy. It's 8 seconds, 6 second duration. Pretty good minor. Here, second tier, Sudden Reversal. Unleash Aurora at nearby enemies. This is basically a CC, an AoE CC on breaking a stun. Since we break a stun in both legends, Pain Absorption and with Shiro, and when we swap legends themselves, it could be pretty handy. However, the one thing about this trait I would like to see change is that it should probably ignore blind, as thieves, just nowadays thieves, everything basically can apply a lot of blindness, and you know, if it's just, if you stun break and it goes blinded, then you did nothing. And if I were to pick this, I would pick it mainly against thieves, against Thief Opener blinds, so yeah. This could be good, but currently it's average, it could be just better. At Pisa, the damage increase part of this trait doesn't work, currently it's bugged, but generally speaking it's pretty good. Cleaving with Shortbow is always some damage, there's always some bonus damage, especially in War vs Sword I imagine. In PvP it's just handy, as this is not as great currently. If this was buffed, I would go with this one. This is just a weapon trait, it's okay. All for one, this is specifically for the Kalla legend, so we are not using that since we are not using Kalla legend, most likely. The third and the last minor is Brutal Momentum when a full endurance. First thing first, it's PvP, so you won't be at full endurance regularly. Okay, so that's it. But if you're, for example, sniping someone from afar, getting some poke damage, you know, it's a solid minor to have, because it's a big critical chance increase. But I wouldn't build a PvP build in mind that you will always have this up, right? So going like no precision, relying on this, no, not really. I mean, it's with Rolling Mist, it's what, 43% critical chance just from that. But I think it's just not worth building around, at least in PvP. In PvP I'm sure it will have a lot of use. But the second part of this, Gain Vigor when you gain Fury, is really good. It's a really good minor, because we are getting Fury when we swap, as I said before, on Shiro, when we swap, and when we hit enemies below health threshold. So, here we go with Grandmaster traits. Now, there comes my slight observation. If you go Renegade, it's probably because you want to do more condition damage. So, personally, I would just always go for Lasting Legacy. It doubles the bonus, it makes the bonus easier to keep up, and it just increases your damage by 10%, straight up. And the bonus is not really that hard to get in the first place. So yeah, that's it. The alternative to it is Righteous Rebel. When we are at 5 stacks, we'll get this buff that reduces condition damage taken by 33%. That's pretty good, not gonna lie. Let's get to 5 stacks. See, just one Bloodbane path, we're at 5 easily, and we have this buff. Condition damage reduction is good, but I would say it won't save you from currently from Scourge, from Conditive, from Condition Mirage. It's just good. It's really solid because you can keep it up permanently. But I think if it was to be picked, it should probably bring some healing, because Condition Revenant, what Condition Revenant really needs with Shiro and Malix is healing, bonus healing. It doesn't have much sustain. It's supposed to do a lot of damage, but it doesn't have much sustain. And things with no sustain that have to sometimes go in melee and have a Shortbow that's, as the name suggests, a short range, you know, kinda require some defensive potential and some healing. So if I were to do something about this, I would definitely put a healing, Kalla's favor gained. So yeah, so it can compete with this. You know, if you can go full damage, go full damage. If you can't go quite full damage, that's okay. You'll just go Righteous Rebel. This that trait, Vindication. Vindication is subpar. I don't know what to think about this. If this was a minor, I would maybe take it. An adept, I would maybe take it. If it was a master, I would consider it. As a grandmaster competing with Lasting Legacy and Righteous Rebel, that's not gonna happen. Sorry. Vindication, gaining Kalla's favor grants you might. The problem is, the might lasts 3 seconds. Yeah, sure, I can get 6, even 10 might of this, maybe. This is... Oh wait, this might... There's an extra might from people around. But this might will disappear in 3 seconds, with no boon duration. And even with boon duration, even with 50% boon duration, it's 4.5 seconds. It's really nothing to write novels about. And the other part of the trait is that Citadel Bombardment puts more missiles into Tyria. Now, we'll get to Citadel Bombardment, but for now I will just say that Citadel Bombardment is bad. Really bad in PvP. And you can maximally take 5 more. It fires... it normally fires 10. It's just... This Grandmaster is not worth taking at any case. I don't know if it's even worth taking World vs. World, to be honest with you. I would just like this trait to be redesigned. This is not an option. I think this is a good lead, that it should buff the Citadel Orders. The Citadel Orders, which are these 3 skills. That would be great. But it should probably buff all 3. Get this buff out of here, put it here, and put the buffs to remaining 2. To Heroic Command, Citadel Bombardment, Orders from both. All these should be buffed by this trait. It should do something with it. It should make them better. Because currently we have... It's just no competition, alright? So that would be it for the traits. As you can see, it has no condition class, it has no bonus healing currently. So you have to supplement this. You have to supplement this with Malix, Demonic Defiance, Resistance. As it currently stands, Resistance with Scourges around is not lasting any time. You don't have any cover conditions. I took this also because I wanted some cover conditions, cover boons. But it's just not enough, sadly. Herald had some bonus cover conditions. For example, whenever you apply a boon to yourself and resistance a boon, you gain the stack of might. So, you know, it's always less likely. It's always just one more boon to go through. But now you have nothing. You spin around, you gain swiftness, but it's not always up. This rapid flow has 5-second cooldown. And you may just get stripped right away and your defense is gone. Also, compared to Herald, Herald has bonus concentration. What this means for condition graph is that you need our boon duration because of how pain absorption works. Pain absorption is great with many allies around, but it's really terrible when there are no allies around. When you're alone. It's still our only good condition defense on such build. I mean, you have no other plans aside from this and maybe weapon sigil. So you kind of are forced to take Demonic Defiance just for it. Pain absorption. If pain absorption was maybe less effective with maximum number of allies around, but more effective when you're alone, when it didn't have such a wild scaling, maybe it would be a better situation. But as it stands, Condition Revenant used to invest a lot on boon duration. You'd get more pain absorption, so you can get enough pain absorption, for example, to duel condition focused build, such as Conditive. Right, Renegade doesn't have that bonus concentration, which means that even if we take Rune of... where is it? Leadership. Even if we take the leadership, our boon duration is still not quite there. As you can see, it's not 50%. We would optimally aim for like 50% boon duration. Now this can be fixed by just adding a new amulet that's condition damage, vitality or toughness, expertise probably, or power, and the fourth stat would be concentration, the minor. So something like condition damage, power, vitality / toughness, concentration. I think this would solve our problems. This would allow us, you know, resist conditions a bit more, especially with so many boon strips. It's just really hard to sustain yourself. Okay, so now we will go over the Citadel Orders. Citadel Orders are frankly not that worth using in PvP. Currently it's mostly about the costs, as Revenant in PvP is really energy starved. You generally want to use your energy, some of your energy on weapon skills, but mostly on your legends that consume a lot of energy. Reposting shadows 30, pain absorption 30 or 35. Generally high cost all around. Yes, 35 still. So you don't really have any energy whatsoever to spend on those skills. You don't get any bonus regeneration from Renegade, nothing. The one order, Citadel Order, I quite like is Orders from Above. It gives you Alacrity. Alacrity is fairly useful just to get the healings quicker. That's basically it. But it's an AoE, so you can use it to give Alacrity to allies, which is handy in pretty much all game modes, right? But again, 30 energy. That's just really a lot. It's also buffed by one of the traits, but as I said, by Righteous Rebel, but as I said, I would rather have this taken out. This could give a bonus heal, and there could be something that generally buffs all. Citadel Bombardment. Now, this skill costs 40 energy. Let me just change the ground targeting so you can see the ground targeting pattern of this skill. Citadel Bombardment, open a portal for the mists, bombarding the area, applying some burning and doing damage, right? Generally this skill is okay when there are maybe 15 people, something like that, when you have really big Zerg. I heard it's okay, aside from the burn them, aside from the cost and energy, and maybe the damage could be higher, but the problem is in PvP you don't really have that many targets usually. It's mostly about skirmishing, and in teamfight people would just walk out of it, since the radius, since the general radius is not that high. As you can see, the pattern is something like this. It's quite odd. This skill reminds me of Meteor Shower, but it's like worse Meteor Shower that costs a lot. And it doesn't really do much damage. As you can see, I'd maybe 3 burns of mine. The rest is of people spamming it. Spamming things in the golem. But yeah, against single target, even 2 or 3 targets in PvP, it's just not worth the effort. Even if it costs 15 energy, I'm not sure if I would use it. I'll be honest with you. It's just that bad. If the damage was higher, if the burn was higher, sure. Maybe make it better specifically for PvP. Maybe make it, you know, more consistent just for PvP. But as it stands, Citadel Bombardment is just really bad, and traits that improve it technically are just not worth taking, because the ability is not worth your energy nor effort in the first place. And the first ability, technically, the first heroic command, but we're not going in order, is heroic command. Refers the durations of Kalla's Fervor. Now, I'll say this: in regular fight, you gain so much Kalla's Fervor that you're pretty much always capped. Alright? You're pretty much always capped on Kalla's Fervor. If you're actually fighting. I mean, Shortbow gets Kalla's Fervor instantly. Just Bloodbane Path gets it high. Shatter Shot, whenever it hits someone, even with a cleave. Cleave can easily hit someone by the back, gives you Kalla's Fervor. I mean, it's really easy to get. Spirit Crash, always so. Searing Fissure, if someone stands like this in it, you'll gain stack. It's not hard to come by, alright? You may mostly see me or other Revenants probably using it out of combat if they have some stacks and they want to refresh it in order to get, you know, some bonus damage when they engage into another fight, and it's dropping off. The might is not impressive, it's 10 might with lasting legacy. Tops. Without lasting legacy, it's max 5 might. For 20 energy, it's not really worth it, and it's not really what Revenant wants in PvP. Like, the might is good, the might is okay, but 20 energy for it and 10 might tops. I mean, just from blasting the field, you can get what, 6? Glint will stack more. It's useful, but it's just maybe if it costs like 5 energy, I don't know. But I will give you my honest opinion on those. If they are about to be used in PvP, they have to provide damage, condition cleanse, and defense. Alright? Defense. So if I were to use them, let's say they even get some cost reductions, but here, orders from both. Let it give stability or cleanse conditions in AoE. That would be great. Cleansing conditions on pulls, great. Great ability. I want to use it. I want to use it now. Cleansing conditions, exactly what Revenant needs. This heroic command. Cleanse conditions, or let's say stability. Give me stability or even a stun break. I will use it. I will love it. This Citadel Bombardment, again, some sort of sustain. or increase the damage, or just make it better. Increase the damage of it. Make the purpose of it clear. I want to use it. It's a cool animation, but as it stands, I won't be using it in PvP ever. So that's about the orders. Again, make this, improve them. The next section, it will be pretty short one, as it's about Shortbow, and I already made a video about Shortbow specifically. It will be just a quick one, and an update on one skill. So Shortbow in general is pretty good, but all it needs, there are mainly two things it needs, alright? The first thing is damage. Shortbow doesn't do enough damage, sorry, but it doesn't. The damage on it's really low. It's also held back a bit about buggy traits, but even with buggy traits working, I don't think it would that great. Like, this sort of a damage poke on a 900 range weapon, if this was 1200 range weapon, great. But 900 range is a mid-range weapon. It doesn't give you the safe space. It's the same range as Necromancer's Scepter attack. So you can't really outrange someone and poke them to death. No, you're kinda still in range of most skills, of many skills. So it needs that damage. It needs that damage. Second skill is great. Awesome. I mentioned that it doesn't require facing. Sometimes it seems to bug out, but bugs are just to be fixed. Again, damage. Third skill, as it stands, third skill is the hardest skill shot in Guild Wars 2 by far. I'll just say this, it is the hardest skill shot by far. It again doesn't do enough damage. Again, what I said in the previous video about Shortbow specifically, it should reward you for hitting all 7 shots. It's buggy, it can be fixed. It should be the by far the most damaging skill of Shortbow. It's the hardest skill shot to land, especially on the moving people. And it's just currently it's good, but it's not nearly good enough, right? Fourth skill, Spirit Crush. Spirit Crush is, in my eyes, as I said in the video, the primary candidate for being a defensive skill. Shortbow needs a defensive skill. Currently, Spirit Crush is nothing. It cannot be fired behind me. It often bugs out on bridges, etc, etc. Spirit Crush gives me not much damage for 15 energy. The burning is really short, the damage is rather low, even with power amulets. Just show you, so I'm not lying. It's not that great, it's split over 4 ticks. It's split over 4 pulses. It's not a burst damage, the enemy has to stand in it to get some damage of it. And even if it's just pretty low damage, to be honest, it's not that great. And it slows. Now, you could argue that slow is some sort of defense, but really, if you test it as a defensive skill, it fails along the way. It's a fire field, but it's not really relevant. It's good, I mean, but it's not a selling point of this skill. So, as I said, I would like it to be a zone defensive skill. I fire it, I stand in it, I'm resistant to your attacks. I want it to be defensive. It's 900 range, I have to have a defense. Fifth skill, as I said, it should be ground targeted. Besides that, amazing skill. I love this. Absolutely love this. So that's about Shortbow. So now, up to the last legend. Last point. Which is the legend. Kalla Scorchrazor. Kalla Scorchrazor has... it will have use in PvE. However, in PvP, as I said previously, I don't see this legend working ever. It has just not enough utility for PvP, and some of its utility is scattered around in weird places. It makes sense for PvE, not for PvP. So now that we got it out of the way, we can obviously try it, you know, maybe with Ventari or something, but it won't be great, alright? So, starting from the heal skill. First thing, Breaker is the Bastion. Again, all of these skills function basically as wells, but those wells also happen to have AI. You can heal, you can fear, you can CC, you can kill, and if you do any of those things, they just stop working. They either are killed, disappear, or when they are CC'd, they just stop working. Their AI breaks. They just will stand there, looking stupid, doing nothing. That's basically it. They also cannot be cast in shallow water. So basically, they are like wells, but worse. They are wells with AI, which is great for PvP. Yeah, so starting on the heal, Breakrazor's Bastion. It provides another minus 33% incoming condition damage, which is fairly good, because with this we have minus 66%. It still doesn't cleanse the conditions, that's the problem. Another problem is you have to stand in it. Another problem is it has really low base heal. The pulse heal has okay scaling, but the chances of your ally standing in it for 10 seconds to get healed are rather low. Breakrazor's Bastion, the AI also gets killed when put on point in teamfight. Just AI dies or gets CC that stops working. That's basically it. Another thing, this is a stun break. Normally I wouldn't say a no to a stun break on a heal. I mean, that's great. You have a stun break on a heal. You can use the heal every time. But this legend has no other stun breaks. So there's a high chance you will waste either heal or a possible stun break when you use this. Which is a downside. Another downside, it costs 10 energy. Why? Pretty much all other legend heals cost 5 energy. In case of Glint, it's basically just an upkeep. Let's see. Let me switch. Chalice, 5. Shiro, 5. Ventari, 5. Kalla, 10. Why? As if Renegade didn't have high energy costs on the Citadel Orders alone. It requires 10 energy. I don't know what arena is. Second skill, Razor Skull Rage. This is currently bugged. It's supposed to be It's supposed to apply the effect every second for 10 seconds, so you can get 10 strikes. Each of your allies can get 10 strikes that bleed. The base bleeding of this thing, if I remove the death, is 2 seconds. Nothing great. Again, this is AI.
Blood Legion, see it done.
You have to stand in it, get a buff. It's a pretty good well, but it doesn't really give conditioned Revenant what it needs. You already have a lot of damage, but what you seek in your legends is mainly maybe chill. Chill will do great. But you primarily seek is defense. This provides no defense. And rather mediocre damage in PvP, since you won't get your teammates to stand in it. It will die if dropped on point. What else? In 1v1, it's 10 more bleeds. It's like 20 seconds of bleeding in total. Assuming you stand in it. and it costs 25 energy. For whatever reason, it also all of these have 3/4 of a second cast time, which is not quick. It can be easily interrupted. It costs 25 energy. For some reason, it has 15-second cooldown. I'm not entirely sure why. I think the skill could go even without any sort of cooldown and be not be overpowered. I mean, Scourge has 20 targets in total. I don't know why Revenant can't. So yeah, this skill is just not made for PvP, but overall it's pretty good. However, this skill, Ice Razor's Ire, I don't know about this skill, and it scales. It's yeah, I have some power now. It does rather bad power damage. I think in total, if it hits everything, it will do a bit more damage than Precision Strike if it hits 3 projectiles. So it's not great. Vulnerability lasts 3 seconds, so this can get to like 20 vulnerability. Let me show you. They're attacking the guy, but it can get to like 20 vulnerability, but just for a second. What are you going to do with a second vulnerability? You as a Revenant don't really have much of a one-hitters. Like a big shot that does 20k damage. No, you're mostly auto attacks, sustained damage, all about this jazz. Cripple is okay, but really, I will be honest with you guys. I think this was supposed to be a chill, but it got nerfed because Abyssal Chill with this will be broken. Maybe if it had less casts. Currently, I just don't find any use whatsoever for this guy. Sorry. Why am I supposed to spawn this? Again, 12-second cooldown. Again, cast time. Again, 25 energy. It costs a ton. It doesn't do much. Just lacks purpose for me. I'll be honest, I don't even know if this will be used in PvP. It doesn't seem to do anything you want. Again, it brings no defense, it brings no useful utility such as heals, condition cleanses, something you want in PvP. Dark Razor's Daring. And also, you know, it has this 360 range, which enemy has to stand in, otherwise it just does nothing. Dark Razor's Daring. This is a good one. This is basically a stunning dazing well. It dazes 6 times. It's good. It's still an AI that can die, but it's good. This I see cooldown justified. Is a CC 12-second cooldown? Yes, I agree. That's great. Yeah, she also talks.
It's true. Defeating a dragon took the strength of all 5 races.
Great. There's some RP. So yeah, totally justified skill. I like this skill a lot. I can't say I don't. It's a dazing well. Great for interrupting stomps, great for rezzing, great pressure. It's also quite funny because with dismantle fortifications, it's pretty good. It can rip stability really fast. Soulclave Summit, and it has 35 energy cost, but for this skill alone, I can see it being justified. Again, 35 skill, CC skill, I get it. It shouldn't be 10 energy. Great, I like this. Soulclave Summit. Again, it's bugged. Just as Razor Claw's Edge, it doesn't have an ICD. It's supposed to have 1 second ICD. It's a very pricey upkeep. It also have upfront costs of 10. Normally, I wouldn't mind. But Renegade uses so much energy. Now you have the Citadel Orders. All of these skills use a lot of energy. Your Shortbow uses a lot of energy. Look, 15 energy, 20 energy. This is justified, but this is not. 15 energy, 10 energy. And these are quite spammable. I mean, you're energy starving already. Upkeeping something that's -9 and costs 10 up front. It's just really hard, man. It's just really hard. And again, it has this small range. Your allies will just go out of it. Like, easily. They won't stand in it. If it was like 600, yeah, great. Give me that. The life steal itself is decent. It's good. Generally, it's a pretty good well with AI attached. Yeah, it's pretty great. So overall, I don't see this legend being used in PvP. I don't really. It could be fixed to work in PvP. I mean, added better heal, condition cleanses, etc., etc. But I think it will be just a fun troll and nothing beyond that. So I provide my feedback on that, but I don't think it will be changed much. I think if we want to see Renegade in PvP, we have to focus on Malik's Shiro and improving Shortbow and the trait line. Now, there are a couple final final thoughts. First thought, in yesterday's video I released about Shortbow, I said I wanted the center to be adjustable. Turns out, it's actually possible, but to do that, you have to go into your options, combat movement, ground targeting, and swap to instant. With either fast and rage indicator and normal, it cannot be adjusted, but as you can see, with instant, Sevenshot center can be actually adjusted, and it's probably my favorite skill in the game. Favorite skill shot at least. I love it. It's a lot of damage. Everything what I said in previous videos still stands. More damage should be rewarded for the good skill shot. It's hard to land. It's by far the hardest skill shot to land in game correctly. Like landing all 7 shots. It's still buggy. I mean, it's great that we can actually adjust center, but it obviously should work with all sorts of ground targeting, not just with instant. There are people who don't want instant. Okay, so that would be it. Thank you for staying in here and listening to me. Let's hope Arena listens. Let's hope Renegade can be used in PvP, because Shortbow is a really fun weapon, and especially the 3rd skill and the 5th skill. I love 5th skill and the 3rd skill, and I would be really sad if I just couldn't use it because it would be unviable. I wish I will be able to use them and it would be viable, and Revenants can use a part of their elite specialization in PvP. Okay, so it was Rim. See ya guys, have fun.